This is a tale of deceit and intelligence. My husband believed he was smarter than me to take everything from me. His quiet words in the night, his secret agenda, they were designed to shatter me. But I wasn't deceived and I hit back. I awoke to an empty bed in our Boston apartment building. The sheets on the other side of the bed were cold, untouched for hours. Nathan, my husband, had left. I brushed sleep from my eyes, discomfort. Perhaps he was in the bathroom getting a drink. But the silence was too much, oppressive. A small murmur came from the hallway. Nathan's voice, low, quiet, measured. Moonlight streamed through the window, making jagged shadows. My gut knotted as I approached the noise. Just a little bit longer, she doesn't know anything. I stood stock still, breath stuck in my throat. His voice was silky, soothing, like soothing an anxious partner. My heart was racing. Who was he speaking to? The words slurred, his voice falling to a whisper. My hands formed fists, nails digging into skin. This wasn't a client call. Nathan never whispered to clients. He didn't mind if I heard his lawyer speak. His voice always loud, assertive. My brain whirled, another woman, a scam, something else. Footsteps sounded, nearing. I sprang back to bed, heart pounding. I pushed under the blanket, pretending to sleep, eyes half closed. The bed sagged as Nathan came back, his weight shifting beside me. I regulated my breathing, slow and steady, a good imitation. There were minutes, then he let out a breath, calm, unaware. I rolled over, voice low, sleepy. Where had you been? Bathroom, he said too fast. And the phone call? He didn't blink. Just a client ironing out a case. His eyes locked onto mine, expressionless, a lawyer's mask. I probed him, looking for a crack, a twitch, a blink. Nothing. Perhaps I was worrying too much, paranoid. But those words, she doesn't suspect anything, clung to me. I swallowed hard, rolled over, mind screaming. Not tonight, not yet. I needed proof. Morning came, gray light filtering through our blinds. Nathan slept, arms sprawled across my pillow. I slipped out barefoot to the kitchen. The apartment was quiet, Boston's skyline dim outside. I grabbed my phone, pulse still uneven. We shared expenses, mortgage, utilities, but kept personal accounts. Nathan handled most finances. I trusted him. But something felt off, a nagging pull. I opened our bank app, scrolling transactions. $500, $1,200, $750, $2,000. A dozen withdrawals over 3 months, small but frequent. Not for bills, not for investments we'd discussed. My hands tightened around the phone, breath shaky. Footsteps creaked behind me. I locked the screen, heart lurching. Nathan leaned in the doorway, rubbing his neck. Morning, he mumbled, voice thick. What's for breakfast? I set my phone down, forcing a smile. Was about to ask you. He smirked, pouring coffee, casual as ever. Your turn then. I saw him take a sip, his hand firm on the mug. I looked at our account this morning. His hold came tight just briefly. Flash and then a laugh. Oh yeah. A lot of little withdrawals, I said, crossing my arms. Things I don't know. He didn't blink. Just small investments, business ventures. Temporary profits. His gaze was serene, but his jaw ticked ever so slightly. Business ventures. He nodded, putting the mug down. Nothing to worry about. He was lying. I knew it, felt it in my bones. The rest of the day, I was unrest. Nathan stuck to his phone, taking calls in his study. His screen was face down at all times, a new thing. At lunchtime I saw him texting, fingers moving fast, eyes flicking. When I glanced over, he turned the phone around, grinned. Work's crazy, he told me out of the blue. I nodded, but the space between us widened. That evening I told my closest friend, Hannah Reed, over coffee. Her warm South End cafe hummed, a refuge. Nathan's keeping something from me, I whispered, speaking low. Phone calls, money vanishing. Hannah's eyes knitted, stirring her latte. You certain it's not work-related stress? He's too cautious, too suave, I explained. More than stress. She leaned forward, solemn. Search his phone, Olivia. You're owed answers. I stalled, guilt crawling. But she was correct. At home, Nathan slept. Phone beside him on the nightstand. I couldn't sleep, ceiling eyeing me back. His peaceful face concealed deception, I was certain. Was I paranoid, or was there something amiss? The uncertainty strangled me, but I wouldn't crack. The following morning my mother, Patricia, phoned. Her voice was honeyed, anxious, from her Cambridge residence. You don't sound right, Olivia. Is everything all right? I wanted to unload it all, but restrained myself. Just exhausted, Mom. Work is demanding. As a physician I was accustomed to stress, but this was different. At the hospital, I spoke in confidence with Dr. Karen Walsh, my colleague. She listened in the break room, cold coffee. Trust your instincts, Olivia, she said. If he's keeping something from you, you'll discover it. That night Nathan was too at ease, laughing at television. He offered takeout, playing the ideal husband. His complacency seemed forced, scripted. Then it occurred. He went to take a shower, phone on the coffee table. He never left it alone. I glared, heart racing. The screen was face down as usual. A light flashed. A message from Ilya Morrow. Make sure she remains in the dark. Nearly there. My breath halted, chest constricted. Who was Ilya Morrow? My fingers hovered, wanted to open it. The shower turned off. Panic flooded, I put the phone back, precise angle. I slumped into the couch, knees clamped to prevent shivering. Nathan came back, towel drying his hair, oblivious. Plan dinner? He asked, taking his phone. Not yet, I got out, voice even. He opened it, no hesitation at all, as if everything was fine. But I'd seen the truth. I went along with it, letting him give me a goodnight kiss. In bed I clutched my phone, whispering. Who the bloody hell is Ilya Morrow? Morning after, the name returned to haunt me. I went through my routine, a ghost in my own house. Nathan ate breakfast, scrolling, oblivious. I followed each movement of his. His relaxed sips, his effortless smile. He was too much, too flawless. Then his gaze snapped up, eyes intense. Babe, can I get you to sign something in a hurry? I almost gagged on my coffee. Sign what? Money reports for taxes, he explained, shoving papers across. His voice was casual, but his fingers tapped uneasily. I scanned the paper, thudding heart. Legalese, but one line leapt out. Property transfer. My savings, our condo, my property. All his name. I looked up, his smile careful, watching. This isn't taxes, Nathan. Just a precaution, he said, smooth. Legal convenience. Nothing changes. My hands shook, not from fear, rage. You're asking me to sign over everything. Not everything, he said, voice too calm. Consolidating, for protection. I set the papers down, deliberate. I'm not signing this. His smile twitched, jaw tight for a moment. Olivia, don't be dramatic. Just paperwork. Why so eager if it's nothing? His eyes hardened, a flicker of warning. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I held his gaze, unflinching. Is that a threat? Silence stretched, heavy, dangerous. Nathan leaned back, arms crossed, smirk gone. His calm was unsettling, a predator's pause. I just think you're overcomplicating things, he said, voice low. I didn't blink, didn't break. He thought I'd crumble, play his game. He was wrong. I'd find proof, protect what was mine. Nathan Brooks underestimated me. I smiled. A small enough one to make Nathan shift uncomfortably in his seat. You know what, Nathan, I said, voice low, moving to stand. You're right. I have to think about it. His eyes narrowed, a flash of surprise. He hadn't been expecting to hit a wall of resistance. I moved, heading to the kitchen, papers in my hand. I dropped them neatly onto the counter, thudding heart. I wouldn't fight. Not yet, not now. I was in charge. Nathan played it like nothing happened that night. He walked through our Boston apartment, pouring a whiskey, turned on the news, chuckled at a headline, scrolled his phone, face down as per usual, as if he hadn't just attempted to sign away my life. I sat on the couch, a discovery settling like stone. This wasn't about mending our marriage. Nathan wasn't repairing us. Nathan was plotting his escape. And he wanted it all: condo, savings, my future. I drank my tea, staring at him, hiding my fury. The following morning, he was in the living room, coffee cup in hand. He seemed carefree, sunlight reflecting on his easy smile. But when I sat facing him, his eyes narrowed. "We need to talk," he said, putting down his cup. I leaned my head to one side, racing pulse. "Oh." He took a breath, as if it hurt him. "I think we should break up." There was chilly, scripted. "It's not working, Olivia. You see that?" His tone was smooth, lawyer's delivery. He wasn't inquiring, he was telling me. I let the silence grow, watching him. "You've been planning this, haven't you?" A flash of guilt crossed his face. "Maybe. Gone quickly. It's for the best. We've grown apart. Grown apart." That's what he decided. I sat forward, elbows on the table. "You mean you want out, but not with empty pockets?" His lips pursed, but he didn't refute. I could have yelled, hurled the coffee pot. But a steel resolve locked within me. I sat back, inclining my head. "I already transferred my assets, Nathan." His stance tightened, breath catching. Subtle, but I noticed. "What do you mean?" His tone was sharp, too controlled. I smiled, slow and deliberate. "Just exactly what it sounds like." His jaw clenched, eyes darkening. He'd spent months planning, thinking he'd win. But I'd outmaneuvered him. He hated it. Silence hung thick, electric. He breathed sharply, stood, took his coffee. Slipped slowly behind the ice, then spun around, eyes icy. "You're going to regret that, Olivia." Threat or bluff? I was prepared either way. Nathan had made his move. My turn. Morning air was thick, oppressive. Coffee was bitter. The silence in the apartment suffocating. Nathan's words echoed in my mind. "You're going to regret that." I reminded myself that they were empty, but I couldn't shake doubt. A loud knock made me jump. I placed my mug on the counter, breath constricted, and opened the door. A man in a navy blazer stood there, envelope in hand. "Olivia Bennett." I nodded, stomach sinking. "You've been served." He handed me the envelope and walked away. It felt heavier than paper should. I sat at the kitchen table, hands trembling. Slid my nail under the flap, pulling out the documents. Petition for dissolution of marriage. I skimmed, eyes catching Nathan's demands. Half the condo, the car, 50% of our assets. And spousal support. I laughed, bitter, shaking my head. He wasn't going, that he wanted to bleed me dry. Months of plotting, perhaps years. The man I loved, cold, calculating. I phoned Hannah Reed, my best friend, shaking. She picked me up at a South End cafe, her face set. "He's cruel," she said, agitating her latte. "You require a lawyer immediately." She suggested Laura Thompson, a divorce lawyer. That afternoon, I sat in Laura's office, wood-paneled, cozy. She went through the papers, smiling at Nathan's ultimatums. "He's got nothing," she replied, tapping her nails. "You transferred your assets to a trust." I nodded, relief flashing. "Before he divorced me," I said. "Joint account secure, my savings as well." "Clever," Laura said, smiling. "Legally, he can't lay his hands on them." "Spousal support." "Unlikely, considering your incomes." I breathed out, shoulders relaxing. For the first time in weeks, I felt master of my domain. Nathan believed he was calling the shots. He was mistaken. That night, I filled a glass of wine, soothing my nerves. The front door slammed open. I didn't flinch. Nathan stood there, fury radiating. His tie was loose, jaw clenched, teeth grinding. "You think you're so smart, don't you?" His voice cut, venomous. I sipped my wine, savoring his anger. "I think I'm protecting myself." His fists curled, eyes blazing. "You planned this." I set my glass down, tilting my head. "So did you?" Silence crackled, heavy with accusations. He exhaled, eyes darkening. "This isn't over." I held his gaze steady. I'd won this round, but the war was beginning. Trouble began at work the following day. I'm a physician at Boston General Oncology Wing. Co-workers gave lingering glances, whispers that stopped when I passed by. Mid-morning, my assistant Megan Carter came into my office. She shifted uncomfortably, hands wringing. "There's a rumor circulating," she said, her voice low. I glanced up from my laptop, tired. "What is it?" She hesitated, then breathed in deeply. "They're accusing you of taking money from joint accounts. Laundering money." My stomach curled, anger boiling. "What?" "I don't think so," she added hastily. "But Nathan's spoken to lawyers, to friends." The words sting like a blow. Nathan wasn't interested only in my money. He was burning me up in public. I thanked Megan, tightly holding back words, and phoned Laura. In her office, I laid screenshots of emails on her desk. Colleagues had emailed Nathan's messages. Lies about my funds. "This must cease," I said, my hands trembling. Laura surveyed them, dryly laughing. "He's desperate," she replied, reclining. "Slandering you subjects him to charges of defamation. How do we put him in his place?" "Cease and desist first," she said, tracing a pen. "In case he ignores it, we sue." I ground my teeth. "I don't want to have a prolonged battle in court." "He's trying to provoke you," Laura said. "He wants you emotional, irresponsible." Diane Foster, my med school friend, stood in the doorway. She'd listened in, her gaze knowing. "Don't act quickly," she cautioned, moving closer. "He'll turn it on you." I nodded, fury bubbling. Nathan had wanted a fight. He'd get one, but on my terms. That evening, I caught him at Leisure, Boston's swanky restaurant. Chandeliers sparkled, wine glasses rang. Nathan dined with two colleagues, laughing, carefree. As if he hadn't spent days besmirching my name. My blood seethed, but I maintained control. I walked up, heels clicking on gleaming wood. "Nathan," I said, voice firm. His laughter ceased, eyes flashing to mine. "Olivia," he said, smile constricted. "What are you doing here?" His co-workers looked between us, feeling tension. "I know what you're doing," I said, quiet. "Spreading rumors at my hospital." He leaned back, grinning. "Cautious, Olivia. You're beginning to sound paranoid." I stared him down, unyielding. "Keep poking, and you'll see how cautious I can be." I walked away, leaving him stunned, co-workers gaping. Home, I looked at my phone, heart pounding. A new email, forwarded from Megan. Another of Nathan's lies, to the hospital board. Accused me of hiding assets, evading taxes. But one thing stood out. A response from Ilya Morrow. "Keep the heat on. She'll break." My heart began racing. Ilya Morrow again. Who was she, and what did she want? I passed it on to Laura, hands trembling. Nathan wasn't acting alone. I had hidden my assets, but the battle was far from won. I hadn't yelled at Leisure. I didn't need to. I leaned over Nathan's table, voice a whisper. "You have no idea what you've started." His smirk faltered just a moment before he grinned. He wiped his mouth with a napkin, eyes gleaming. "Let's see what you've got, Olivia." I'd given him his warning. No more playing fair. Nathan had spent months manipulating, intimidating. He thought he could control me, take everything. He'd underestimated me at every turn. Now, after trying to steal my money, besmirch my reputation, he was desperate. And a desperate man is a dangerous man. Morning coffee burned sour in my Chicago flat. The skyline sparkled, but the air was heavy with tension. My phone rang. Laura Thompson, my attorney. "Olivia, you must come in." Her tone was imperative, no beating around the bush. I put my cup down, heart jumping. "What's wrong?" Nathan requested a complete financial audit. The words chilled like ice. "On what grounds?" "He says you mishandled joint funds. You owe him a settlement." I breathed in, centering myself. "He's attempting to bleed me, funds, time, tension." "Exactly," Laura said, voice cutting. "He knows he can't win. He wants you drained." Bitterness twisted in my chest. "Nathan never played to win, he played to exhaust you." "Not this time. I'll be there in an hour." Laura's office was scented with polished wood, coffee. Nathan's movements stretched across her desk. Red ink scratched. Good news, she said, glancing up. He has no legitimate proof. Bad news. It could go on for weeks, perhaps months, if the court indulges him. I clenched my fists, nails digging. What's our play? Counterfile for dismissal, she said. Require him to pay legal fees for delaying. I grinned. Let's do it. 2 weeks later, I stood before Nathan in a Chicago courtroom. Luminous fluorescent lights hummed, air heavy with tension. He was across from me, suit crisp, tie cinched too tightly. His smirk was scarcely concealed, eyes sparkling. He believed this was his hour. His lawyer rose, voice velvety. Your Honor, Mrs. Bennett inappropriately transferred assets to keep the settlement unfair. We call for a forensic analysis of all the transfers, last 6 months. I didn't blink, didn't move. Laura pushed her glasses up, serene as always. Your Honor, my client's financial actions precede Mr. Brooks' filing. There is no evidence of mismanagement or fraud. She pushed a binder across, thick with evidence. We move to dismiss with prejudice and attorney fees paid. This is financial harassment. The judge looked face unreadable. Silence hung, Nathan's eyes on me, searching for weakness. Gave him nothing. The gavel fell. The court finds no basis for an audit. Motion denied. Mr. Brooks will pay all attorney fees. Nathan's smirk dissolved, jaw clenched. He'd lost again. Outside he pushed by, swearing low. You think this is over? Wait and see. His threat hung, but I knew him. Men such as Nathan don't quit. They regroup, come back stronger. I was prepared. Next morning Laura phoned, voice strained. We have a problem. I clutched the phone, racing heart. What now? Nathan and Ilya Morrow lodged a complaint. They're accusing you of financial fraud, fiddling records over months. The air was knocked out of my body. If this went through, I was up for criminal charges. My career, my liberty, over. They're proof. Papers, Laura said, rustling papers. If the court pursues it seriously, you're in a criminal probe. My reality spun, but I pushed calm. Are the papers legitimate? Snort. Absolutely not. But they're good fakes. Ilya Morrow. The shadow behind Nathan's actions. Diane gazed at them, Laura added. She discovered something. Diane Foster, my med school buddy, tech whiz. Hope glimmered. What? Fake timestamps on the transfers. The accounts didn't exist when they allegedly transpired. I breathed out hard. Their error would destroy them. Fear burned off, replaced by determination. Nathan desired a war. End it. At Laura's office, I made my decision. I'm not only defending, I said, hands on her desk. I want to bury them. Laura looked at me, then nodded. But we have enough. She pointed to a folder. Our forensic expert, Ethan Walsh, verified Diane's discovery. The documents are fake. He grinned sharp. We filed to establish it, then sue Nathan and Ilya for defamation, tampering with evidence. And I want full damages, I said. You'll get them, Laura said, smiling. The Chicago courthouse reeked of wood, tension. Nathan was seated, pale, jaw clenched. Ilya Morrow stood there, a private investigator, thin-lipped, sharp-eyed. So this was the woman, Nathan's hired gun, manufacturing his falsehoods. Laura addressed the room, voice slicing through. These documents against my client are falsified. We have evidence the transactions never occurred. Ethan testified, describing forged timestamps, pseudo-accounts. Nathan's attorneys shifted uncomfortably, whispering urgently. Laura put a folder in front of the judge. In light of this fraud, we're countersuing Mr. Brooks and Ms. Morrow. Defamation and falsified evidence. Silence fell, heavy, electric. Nathan's lawyer stood, throat clearing. Your Honor, my client withdraws his claims. No choice, they were cornered. The judge nodded. Motion dismissed. Mr. Brooks covers all costs. Nathan's face drained, eyes hollow. Ilya stared ahead, expressionless. I'd won completely. Outside, Nathan passed without a word. I let him go, then whispered just for him. We're done here. Peace settled, fragile but real. No more hearings, no more threats. No waking up fearing Nathan's next move. 2 days after that, Laura slid papers across her desk. Done. Nathan signed the settlement. I checked them, heart steady. He got nothing, not a single dime. His claims dismissed. His defamation backfired. His reputation shattered. How do you feel? Laura asked. I laughed, soft, more exhale. Lighter. She smiled. You deserve that. I nodded, folding the papers into my bag. This was it, the end. That night, Patricia and Claire Hayes demanded a victory dinner. Claire, Patricia's friend, embraced me at her Chicago brownstone. It's over, she whispered, relief in eyes. It is, I whispered. Diane poured champagne, smiling. To freedom, and never letting a man outwit you again. Toasted, laughing. I'll drink to that. We dined, chatted, reminisced. For the first time in months, I wasn't glancing over my shoulder. The war was over. Later I stood on my balcony, Chicago's skyline glinting. Lights stretched to the horizon, infinite, alive. Everything felt different. I wasn't the woman who ignored Nathan's lies. Not the woman who trusted blindly. I'd lost trust, time, love's illusion. But I'd gained strength, clarity, control. My phone buzzed, an unknown number. I blocked it, no hesitation. I opened my laptop, a blank document waiting. A new chapter, my story. I whispered to the night. This is mine now. Betrayal tests you, but strength defines you. When the ones you trusted betrays you, stand above their lies. Your strength is in standing up for your dignity, your future, your truth. If you have been betrayed, know that you're stronger than you believe. Have you battled for yourself when the odds were against you? Leave a 1 in the comments or leave your city and time. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for more such stories. Be strong, be smart, and never let anyone steal your power.